Welcome back, you guys. So our queen, Miss Taylor Swift, has released a new album. And if most of you don't know already, I am a Taylor Swift, I am a long-term, diehard Swiftie since forever and always and forevermore. And this album, obviously, I was stoked for it to come out, right? I mean, how could I not be? And I was really, not so stoked once it came out. It pains me to say this out loud. It pains me because she is, in so many words and in so many ways, my everything. And it's crazy to me that I am at the point of my life where I'm actually kind of questioning where she stands, I guess, in my life. I never thought I would say this. Honestly, I had been thinking a lot lately about how I realized I'm extremely emotional. There is just no denying how emotional I am, and I feel like my emotionalness state, just the sobbing wreck that I am all the time, is getting to the point where it is sabotaging a lot of things in my life that are good things in my life. And I'm like, if she has anything to do with this, not that she's the problem, but just the fact that her songs are narcotics. They are. There is no denying that. And when I am in an emotional state, obviously I just want to wallow even more, and then you start listening to her and it numbs the pain, and then you want to listen to her more, but most of her songs are already sad, and then you just start spiraling, and it's really hard to get out of this state. And that doesn't mean that I can't listen to her songs at all without getting into a really bad state, and that doesn't mean that I would never want to listen to her songs if I quit listening to her. But I just want to, I guess, be woke enough to know and make that connection if that is for sure a contribute to my just emotional wreckness that I've been, honestly, the last few months. And if I'm being honest, it's longer than a few months. It's been off and on for years. And I think that I can't blame it on her entirely because, we're human. And, I've been going through a lot. I have my reasons, but I don't think she's helping. And so what I wanted to do is honestly just take a Taylor Swift fast and just kind of cut her out little by little. And I knew that this album was coming out, and so I was kind of battling, okay, how am I gonna deal with taking a Taylor Swift break when I know her new album is coming out? Obviously I'm gonna want to binge the crap out of it. What's kind of funny is the fact that I was little by little cutting her out. Then the album dropped, and the album has helped me take my fast because I just don't really like it. And I don't think it has anything to do with the fact that I was trying to cut her out little by little. When I say, trying to cut her out, too, I have pictures of her all over my house. She's on my shower curtain. She's canvassed down my hall. I have photoshopped pictures with her. She is all over. Everywhere you look, there is something Taylor Swift. I have her kitchen set. I have blankets, a guitar of hers, my closet, everywhere you look, there is Taylor. So I'm literally wearing a shirt right now. This is not even on purpose that I am wearing her shirt right now. She is everywhere. And this is kind of my thing that I was realizing too, is that I want to be able to like her music for her music and like her as an artist and leave it at that and not have to literally identify myself behind her. Because this is something that I am very, very passionate about, is the things that I identify myself behind. And I have kind of gotten rid of my identity with everything else except for her. And I feel like, why can't I, like, she has such a hold on me. It's not even funny. And I mean, like, especially when I was younger, I would try so hard to identify myself behind her. Because, I mean, that's why, look at someone who's insecure, and if they try to ever identify themselves behind you, it's because you are doing things with your life, and they think if they can just identify themselves behind you, maybe they will be relevant. And this is exactly what I was thinking in my younger years when I was identifying myself behind her. So I get it. I fully and completely get it, where I'm coming from, how this works, all the above. And yet I just can't seem to stop because she's a drug. If I'm being honest, she's a drug. I could talk about this for hours on end. And I'm saying all this, if you guys are here for my coaching and not because of Taylor, I'm saying all this because I am a life coach. And I am very aware of how not healthy this is for me, and I have been challenging myself, especially the last, I want to say year and a half, to be better in every way I can possibly be better. Cut out the toxicity, cut out toxic friends. I reset my entire body by restarting my entire diet. Everything that goes into my body, I am very aware of. I'm aware of what triggers me, what doesn't, what makes me tired, what doesn't. I've cut out sugar, for goodness sake. For several months, I cut out sugar. That was something I thought I would never, ever be able to do. Overcame the addiction that I had to these certain foods that I never thought I would not be able to, that I never thought I would be able to get out of that addiction, the relationship with. I have tried challenging myself in every way I possibly can to challenge myself, and this was the one thing that was on my back burner that I was like, I don't think so. And cutting out, no. Because I was like, she makes me feel better. She heals my pain. She is that narcotic. And she does. There is no denying. Yes, she does make me feel better. But not in the long run, I don't think. And again, it's not that I want to cut her out completely. Now, regarding my diet, I will eat sugar every now and then. But I know how it makes me feel when I do it. So I don't like doing it. And sure, sometimes it's nice, if the situation is right, it calls for it, but I know the consequences I'm going to have after I eat that said thing, after I eat the sugar. I know I'm going to be tired the next day, I'm going to be more emotional, I know, the side effects are honestly going to be about the same as listening to Taylor, ironically. So I say all this because why? Because I'm trying to bash Taylor, or because I'm trying to be here to coach, or what's happening here? Okay, I say all this because as a coach, I'm using Taylor as an example of ways we can improve our life, and I will get into this in a minute, but I want to say, because I think she is huge right now. She is the top of the top of the top. It's absolutely insane. And I look at her not only as my queen, and I say this too, all of this regarding her. I love her. I do. I will always love her on some level. She holds a place in my heart that I just don't think that I could ever get rid of. I mean, we have too much history. She and I do. Every single time, and I mean this, every single time, talk about narcotics, not neurotics. And talk about narcotics. Every single time I'm going through something, it does not matter what it is, she will always release a song or an album at the exact time that I'm going through the said thing. Like when my dog died, when I moved, like states, literally big things. When I first got into like a really serious relationship, like literally everything huge that happens in my life, everything, I'm not even joking, she has released a song or album at that time that always relates. It's wild. I don't think ever fully get rid of the place she holds in my life and in my heart. But anyway, I'm using her as an example for ways that we can improve our life. And I imagine that you are probably familiar with her, whether or not you consider yourself a Swiftie. I imagine that there is something that she has put out there that you relate to. And I'm using this as an example. Whether you are a fan of her or not, I think you can understand where I'm coming from with this and still get something out of this without being mad that I'm a Swiftie and you feel some type of way about it. That being said, I have been thinking a lot about how I don't really want to identify myself as a Swiftie, because I think when you hold a label over yourself that maybe you don't fully agree with, you are holding over a power over yourself that maybe you don't want. Like, okay, have you heard there are so many things I want to say in this. Oh my gosh. When you call something, it gives it that power. Like, I believe what our name is a personality that we have been like given as a person. Like my name, Kassandra, means she who entangles men. And I believe that I have a secret power of entangling men. I'm literally writing a book about this. If you call a kid Sunshine, people are probably going to think of them as like a ray of light. And I don't mean like literally name them Sunshine, but if their name means sunshine, I guarantee you people refer to them as sunshine or a ray of light or like something along the lines of that. If you call somebody patience, like something that means patience, they're probably gonna have a lot of patience because that's just what their name means. I have tested this over several years with people I know, and it always tracks. Anyway, when you call yourself something like Swiftie, what she stands for is going to narrate your life, whether you're aware of it or not. And one thing I've really, really noticed throughout this album is that I'm really not super impressed with it. And partly because of everything she stands for. She literally stands on forgiveness, which is nothing new. But it was becoming very apparent to me in this album, and I wish I could break down each song one by one by one by one by one. I honestly do not have the bandwidth for this or the time for this, and I honestly don't think anyone cares that much. If that is something you guys want, please let me know, and I will consider doing it. I just am trying to spare you guys some bandwidth. Can I just add a disclaimer to everyone who likes to come out and be like, you're only talking about Taylor because it's getting you views, because guess what? She's so much bigger than you, and you're like identifying yourself behind her by talking about her in the first place for like clout and crap. Look, I'm using her as an example in our own life because, I mean, if we're being real, she's probably narrating a lot of our life if we're listening to her, because she's the soundtrack quite literally to our lives. So anyway, I don't want to sound like a Karen as I say this. This is not exactly relevant to the new album. I'm getting a little off track. But regarding her current position in life, platform, I don't really, and I know this sounds so Karen of me, but I don't really like the fact that she is on Disney Plus because she's not necessarily, look, no shame to the Eras Tour. She is a performer. She's in her 30s. She's an adult. She has fans of all ages. I don't think that she should necessarily be targeting like just the kids. Like that she should, be a role model for kids strictly because she has young fans. Like she also has older fans. She has many fans, and all in between. So like I agree with and fully support with her doing whatever she wants to do, like performance wise, outfit wise, etc., etc. As long as it's not like Miley Cyrus like bangers tour. Um, because I think that she has like more respect for herself than to be like that. But anyway, um, like even the Vigilante, song performance, it was still classy. In my opinion, it's classy. That being said, I don't think it should be on Disney Plus where, kids just binge through it and parents don't have any idea what their kids watch. And not just that, but like a lot of the performances and a lot of the lyrics, and because I see so many kids replicate, or not, is it replicating the right term for this? Yeah, but mimicking, Taylor, um, on like TikTok and everywhere, singing the songs and whatnot, and like they have literally no idea what they're doing, and I just don't think it's appropriate. And I'm not trying to sound like a Karen right now, but I'm saying this as someone, this is probably not something I would have said a couple of years ago, but I'm saying this now as things in my life have changed. I have kids in my life that I care about, and that is not something I want them to be watching. Just saying, or listening to. That being said, I was getting into kind of a bit of an argument with an artist, a musician, about this, who was saying that she's an artist and he's like, she should have the ability to write and perform like whatever she wants to and target it to whoever will sell, because that is her work. She is an artist. This is what she does. This is her job. And I get that completely. But she's also a multi-billionaire. So can she not like consider, she's a multi-billionaire, and at the status she is at, she does not need and I get it, like when you're at that level, like bring it on. How Let's just see how much more I can top myself, but at the level she is, I just wish that she would use her platform to empower, you know instead of using her platform to basically glorify depression. This is what the new album, The Tortured Poets Department, is it's literally glorified depression. I listened to this and I was like, I can't even process the idea of listening to this over and over and over again to try to learn the lyrics, because I'm like, I will make myself depressed. I say this with love. I can't do it. And I'm trying to say this to my friends and coworkers, like, guys, don't, like, I'm not trying to say, like, that I have no reason to be jealous or anything else. I can't even think of another word for trying to encourage someone to not listen to this. Like, I have worked my entire life as a fan to try and get people on board with this. Now everyone's on board and suddenly I'm like, whoa, I think I want to jump the ship. Like, what is going on? And also, sorry, I just now happen to think regarding like her being on Disney and being like an influence, a role model for little kids. There's like literally 10 Taylor Swift books, coloring books, storybooks about her life, about like everything at Walmart for little kids. And I'm just like, this is the thing. Like, she is literally like the next Hannah Montana. She is considered Disney and child friendly at this point. And I'm like, she's not. I'm sorry, but she's not. Her new album, I would not want anywhere near kids in my life. It's dark. It's very, very, very dark. Almost every single song, and I'm not exaggerating, talks about killing someone or talks about death in some way. Whether it's killing someone, suicide, whether it's about her wanting to die. It's very dark and it's honestly a little bit morbid and gory. Like, she says, waking up in blood. Don't really need that imagery. Um, Who's Afraid of Little me, Old Me is very, very dark. I mean, talking about the gallows, I don't need to hear that. Like, even when she had Reputation and she's like, because she's dead, that was, in my opinion, like pushing it. Because I don't even like hearing that because I don't need to think about death. I need to think about life. I'm literally a life coach. Like, this is what I do. Life is in the title. So consider me biased. But again, she's very dark and I wanted to break down every song and I actually tried making a episode breaking down literally each song and I don't even think I got to 7 and I was like, you know what, I can't do this. I have 31 songs to go through, which, by the way, 31 songs, really? There was a day I would have died. Here I go. Staying on theme, I guess. For a Taylor Swift album with 31 songs. But this one honestly seemed like overkill. And again, I never thought I'd say this, but like they all sounded the same. I'm sorry, they do. There's not even like a legit bop in this song, in this album. Like, where's the Shake It Off? Where's the Bad Blood? Where's the bops? It's just all very much the same. Like, the best upbeat songs are like My Boy Only Breaks His Favorite Toys, which I, don't get me wrong, I loved that song at first. I still don't not like it, but when I started looking into the lyrics, I'm like, this isn't even a positive message. Like, it's literally about her being like a doll and basically getting tossed around and broken. Like, so much for like a summer jam. Down Bad, I wish was a bop. Like, it had the potential to be a bop, but it's like not, because it's underlying depressing. It's not really uplifting. There's like literally no song on this album. Oh my gosh, or like the I Can Do It With a Broken Heart. Again, like, it has so much potential, but it's underlying depressing. And she literally says in this album that she's miserable. She says she's depressed. She says that everything she does is teenage penitence. Is that penitence? I can't say the word. Which, honestly, it kind of is, because the way she's talking about wanting to die all the time is how I talked in like middle school and high school. Don't get me wrong, not that the feeling ever went away, but I don't talk like that. And I get, again, as a writer, she has the free will to write whatever she wants and talk about whatever she wants. That is her job. She gets paid for it. I'm just on the sidelines making YouTube videos about it. But it comes off immature. And again, when she has a young audience, like, is this really what you want to be promoting to your fans? I'm really scared that she's gonna start causing suicide amongst her fans. I'm saying this as somebody, not to sound like a Karen yet again, as somebody who is very impressionable with things that she says and does. If this had come out like a couple of years ago, I don't know that I would have been able to separate the song from the act. And I am literally so truly proud of myself for catching on to this and being like woke enough to be like, yo, I don't know how I feel about this. and stand my ground, because right now it seems like everyone else is finally on board with accepting her. And it sucks so hard that now that everyone else is on board, I'm like, I don't know how I feel about it anymore. You know? And I almost wonder if this is why I feel this way, because I liked her when she was like our little treasure. Like she was our secret thing that only the Swifties had, and now she just belongs to everyone, and it's like, oh, so like she's no longer cool anymore. You know how that works. But I don't know. Also, I'm just like, it pisses me off so much that everyone does find her so cool now. I'm like, yeah, she was this cool all along. You guys just didn't see it. Now you do. Welcome to the club, but also like, get out. We were here first. And then I just feel like we're the ones, maybe it's just me, kind of like, okay, it's our time to get out, because like, it's not what it was. She just is like everywhere now, and it's no longer exciting when you find a book about her. It's like, oh, there she is again, and there's another one. There's actually 10 about her. I can't buy them all. It's literally, what is that word? It's like a supply and demand of Taylor. Like, because there's so much. Rare is value and excess is ordinary. She's like no longer valuable. She's just ordinary at this point. You know what I mean? Like, again, I say this with love, but that's how I feel. Anyway, regarding the album, again, I don't want to sound like a Karen or sound like overly religious or something, because I know that you're gonna like forget what I have to say if that's the case, but there is so much blasphemy in this album, and I don't like it. Okay, what pisses me off, seriously, I would not consider myself not religious, but I'm also not like hyper religious. I'm just like the right amount of religious. And there is so much blasphemy, and it pisses me off the fact that people only blasphemize. Is that a word? Blasphemize God and Jesus and the Bible. Like, why, if you're gonna blast religions, blast all of the religions, blast multiple religions, why is it that everyone only targets that religion? Why? I think because it's like the most well known, but then why is it the most well known? Maybe because it's true, maybe because it's the only one with a God that is actually alive. And you know what's funny too is she actually said in this album something about how like she admits that she is a woman who doesn't have much faith. Like a wiser woman would have more faith or something like that's what she says. But even statues crumble when they're made to wait or something like that. And I'm like, so yeah, you're admitting that, yeah, statues crumble. Like, why are you comparing it to statues? Why are you not comparing it to the living God? But then she blasphemizes the living God in this album. And like, there's so much religious imagery. It's fascinating to me. Also, this has happened, I've noticed in, what was it, was it Midnights? I think it was Midnights. It's weird, she just like gradually started getting more and more like religious imagery, which makes me question like what's up with her. I don't want to say like that she has sold her soul type thing, not to turn this video into that, but I honestly wonder. I don't know. I'm just going to put that out there. Leave it up to the imagination, I guess. Also, in her Fortnite video, she looked so dark to me. Like, I know it was a black and white video, she's in dark lipstick, whatever, but I'm seeing her in such a different light than I used to. Such a different light. I don't know, she just looked like soulfully dark to me. being the lyricist and mastermind that she is, I really think that this album had so much more potential than just being dark. Honestly, it wasn't like that well written. Like she had so much to say. Like the songs were so wordy, but she didn't like say that much at the same time. It was kind of just, I don't, you know what I mean though? Like she said so much without saying all that much. And it was just dark. It just goes back to that. Also, that song about Down Bad was like about an alien abduction. I'm sorry, what? I something about that just doesn't sit right with my soul. That's all I'm gonna say. Like, again, creative. It is very, very creative. She's very creative, and I admire that. But it just, along with everything else, like had she, had a song about that, and then like a song or two about being depressed and whatnot, or like any of or all of the songs that she has released, but like throughout different albums, I wouldn't have thought anything of it really. Maybe a few things would have given me pause, but because it was all as a whole, I'm like, what is happening here? What is happening? And literally saying that she will never forgive. Again, not trying to sound like ultra religious, but how can you move on in life without letting things go? Like, and this is what actually makes me mad, is the fact that she's at the level that she is, and she makes it look like this is how she got there. By being just petty AF and revengeful and spiteful and not letting anything go for the life of her. And then it makes me question, is this how you become a billionaire? Like, is this literally what people want? To that extent, people want someone to be that petty, that's what they glorify. That's how you become a millionaire, is being petty and not letting things go and just living like literally so miserably. Like, this is all something I circle around over and over and over again. Because I'm like, okay, clearly this is what I need to do to become a billionaire, is live like this. But then I'm like, but she's not even happy, obviously. She says it herself that she's not. We all know this. The more money you have, the less happy you actually are. But then I'm also questioning, like, but then how does this make you a billionaire? Would she be a trillionaire if she was able to let things go? If she wasn't quite so petty, would she literally be a trillionaire? Like, is her fortune actually that great if she would just unleash full potential? I don't know. Or is she a billionaire because this is the way to succeeding to a billionaire, is all of these things that are not of God, because money, not that money is not of God, but like money to that extent is not of God, because it is not, it is worldly. It is very much worldly. And I mean, if you think about it, everyone who is very high in life, like Gates, Zuckerberg, and Musk, and like all of these people who are very, very, very wealthy, Trump, I don't think that they are very much godly people. I think they are actually psychopaths. And I think that's actually what it takes to become that level of wealthy, because it takes trampling on everything under you to get there, because you have to be absolutely ruthless and rebellious to a point that you do not care about anyone or anything. Clearly she cares. I mean, she has feelings for years, for decades, but It is kind of funny that everyone says that she like literally made a hate song about her fans. Like, really? Really? After everything we've done for you. Anyway, I don't blame her though for feeling like the way she does at this point of her life. And honestly, it makes me sad. Her song, The Prophecy, that made me cry. Because I'm just like, it's sad. It's just sad. I don't know what to do as a fan. Like, I almost feel like maybe I'm doing the best thing I can do and like trying to back off a little bit to just give her breathing room because I feel like she must think that she is suffocating. And it makes me so sad if you think about it. All of her albums have seemed, I don't know if I could say they've only gotten sadder and sadder, but kind of on some level. And I'm like, what's next? Like, what if she literally commits suicide next? Talking about how depressed she is, like literally saying that she wants to die in every song. I hope that, or talking about death in every song, excuse me. I hope that this is just like a bad album, like a sad, just bad phase for her, and that she will snap out of this because how much worse could it get before she has a wake up moment? Like, and all of these songs are not even really about Joe, the 6-year relationship. There's like a couple about Travis. There's like what, most of them about Matty. I don't understand. That rat, literally that rat from like a New York strip. Like, I just, did someone pull him out of the dumpster? I'm sorry. I don't know how people find him attractive. Granted, I don't find Travis like all that either. But he looks like a nice guy. He's like a solid man. Matty, I'm sorry. I would never look at him twice. If I came in contact with him. No, absolutely not. Joe was also an attractive man. Like, I think she could do better, but he was at least better than Matty. And it's just funny, like, when she tried to, like, funny how, like, when she tried to rebound to Matty to get out Joe, it's just like, Joe, I'm sure was just like, honestly shamed. Like, he probably literally felt shame for himself that he even dated her, if that is her standard. I'm sorry. Anyway, I'm not trying to also be like that person that talks about Taylor like, she is a rebel and therefore she is practicing witchcraft because the Bible speaks against rebellion and blah, 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 blah. Like, I look at what she does and who, you know, who she is as a person and like who she is surrounded by and yada yada whatever. Like, okay, here's a whole nother thing. Oh my gosh, on this topic, people say all the time that she's, and I say this like not knowing what religion any of you guys are, but I'm just trying to like break down her because also that prophecy song, it makes me question a lot, like, where she stands religiously. It makes me think that something happened. I'm not sure what happened to my audio, like, midway through this video, or probably even not even midway. It just cut out. Sorry about that if it gets a little bit more just kind of muffled. But I just want to say, okay, the Tortured Poets Department as the title of this song, which I guess Joe was in some sort of a group or something like that called the Tortured Poets. And so she names her album after that. It's a very Taylor thing to do, but can I just say that that's weird? Like, if I had an ex that, because I'm in roller derby. If I had an ex that, like, wrote a song or, like, did... Okay, let me think of something that my ex did. Like, or my current relationship. It's easier to think about because he's the one who's actually, like, doing things with his life. But, if he released, like, a product of his company called, what my roller derby team is called, as like the name of his product, that would be absolute, like if we broke up, that would be absolutely bananas. Like I can't even process how weird and like much of an ick that would give me. That is weird that she's doing this. I'm sorry, that's weird. I get like writing songs about your ex because that's about feelings, but when it comes to that, like that's a little over the line in my opinion, but that's just my opinion. That being said, can I also just break down real fast how I feel about Taylor just glorifying romance to the level she does? It's absolutely insane. Relationships are literally her god. Again, like going back to all this religious imagery, I don't know if that has something, I don't know. I mean, she literally though, like is comparing relationships, like she says, to like the altar and the Holy Ghost and like all of the things that she talks about. Obviously, almost all of her songs are about relationships, and that's valid as an artist. Most singers, movies do revolve around relationships, but the fact that she puts it on such a pedestal that gives you like she literally says in her song, I could die and it wouldn't make much of a difference, or something along the lines of that, because that's how she feels, that she could literally just die. The Taylor Swift, does she realize her net worth? Does she realize just who she is and everything that she is capable of and the power she has? And yet she thinks that she would rather die if some man, some trash rat man, doesn't love her. And I know that I am probably like the worst person to be arguing this point, because I sway very on the spectrum of almost nobody relates to, of like detaching myself from the status of relationships. I'm in a relationship and it's honestly been a struggle for me. Feeling like I have to like identify myself as an extension of them, or them as an extension of me. I struggle with it. I'm like, I am my own person. You are your own person. I like you. I want you. I don't mind spending life with you. But like the joining of us to as one thing is something that I just cannot compartmentalize very well. Like I'm trying. I'm getting there extremely slowly, but I'm also like questioning half the time, if I'm being completely honest, why it works like this. And I know there's reasons that's why it does, but it just doesn't make sense to me. I have such a hard time understanding this because I can't even tell you how many years of my life trying to deconstruct this belief system. And before I felt like I had completely, like I was close, but I hadn't quite completely not solely believed it. I think because, again, there's a reason that this is the way it is for a reason. And now I'm trying to like reverse my belief system that I had spent so long deconstructing, and it's just like I'm going backwards now, and it's so hard. Anyway, so I know I'm saying all this because I know I'm the worst person to be trying to argue this point, but because this is my view on and my stance on a lot of this stuff, it absolutely drives me insane that she is like overcorrecting way too far in the extreme of relationships are absolutely everything, and that she herself, I mean, coming from her, thinks she has no value if some man doesn't love her. Taylor, come on. What are you trying to teach young kids? What are you trying to teach them? Again, if I was this young, like as young as her fans are and as impressionable as they are, because I know that I was at that age, and again, I'm woke enough to see this the way I do now. I'm not saying I'm right. I'm saying this is my current opinion. When I was even more vulnerable and impressionable, I would be falling into that trap so deep. I would be white knuckle gripping myself down this belief system that, yeah, I would literally die if a man did not love me. I mean, I can't say that I still wouldn't feel that way on some level. If some man didn't love me, I'd be like the ego is going to come into play, and then, of course, the emotions and oh my gosh. But I also believe that if he doesn't love me, someone else will. This is also, not gonna lie, why I've had to build up my network the way that I have. Like, I need people to love me. I need masses of people to love me. I am not comfortable putting all of my worth into if one man loves me. Because again, I cannot give a man that much power. I know that's bad, and I know that one man can love me so much more and so much deeper than the masses ever could. But if I ever lose that, and I'm not trying to talk fear-based, I should make an entire series, literally a series on this. But if I ever lose that, I need to know that I have the backup of the masses who love me in whatever way they do. And I know it's different, but because I have value and worth and acceptance outside of a relationship that has the potential to literally destroy me. And Taylor doesn't seem to understand that. She just doesn't. And it's sad because she has literally the world at the palm of her hand. She has the world at the palm of her hand. And I guess, once again, this is something else that it's like, does it even matter, I guess? Because we see this firsthand with her. And yet it just doesn't seem like it's working, it's helping. I don't know. It just seems like if this worked, why is she at the level of depression and misery that she's at? I don't know. It makes me question, is being a billionaire like actually just the recipe for absolute destruction? Or this is why we learn from, I feel so bad. I feel like celebrities are guinea pigs and we just learn so much from them if we choose to, instead of idolize them. I mean, honestly, I think it's funny, it's taken me so long to understand this, but the people who look at celebrities as literally just people are honestly like the wisest people. They are not to be admired at the level they are. They are people struggling to figure it out. And I think we should use them as examples because they're people, well, examples, yes, but also no, because they clearly don't have anything figured out and we should not be looking up to them in any respect, if we're being real. But also, kind of, what can we learn from this? Like, whether it's something that we should idolize or not, these are like great examples put on a pedestal and just like magnified so greatly. We can learn littler, smaller examples from the way that things go down, like whether it's in high school, whether it's in our work environment, whether it's in our life, whether it's in business. There's so much to be learned. There is so much to be learned for free by literally just watching their example. And it's sad. This is why it's like fame is not what it's made out to be. It's not. And I tell myself this all the time as I'm growing my own net worth for that matter. Net worth has been like the word that's been on my brain all day. I don't know why. Can you see how much this is literally stressing me out right now? Like I think I need to take a couple minutes to breathe. People say to me all the time, because I was questioning recently anyway with like the Eras Tour and people making theories and stuff that she's like suddenly a witch. I had such a hard time believing it because I'm like, Taylor, really? I still don't know where I stand with that theory, but that could be something that I think would defer me listening to her, because that for me is it's crossing a line that I'm honestly not all that comfortable with. And it's just, so it's interesting though, because people are always saying like, look at who she hangs out with, like hanging out with Ice Spice and this person and that person and yada yada. Like, of course she's a witch. You are who you surround yourself by. Most of my friends are like Satanists or witches and yada yada yada. I'm not over here doing that. So like, I beg to differ. But also, when she's talking like she is, I'm like, I don't know. And then on top of the other things that I was already questioning to begin with, but I made excuses for. That being said, I'm not trying to look at her and be like, she's a rebel because she's doing this and doing that and blah, blah, blah. Like, I feel like quite gray, I guess you could say, with where I stand with things. But I look at her as like, this is over the line for even me. I honestly have no desire to even learn the words to this album. Granted, it's probably going to happen anyway, but I don't have the desire to. And if she were to have a tour based solely on this album alone, I honestly don't think I would go. And I have gone to every tour of hers since Red, like including Red. And since I have gone to every single tour, and that is just how much I don't really jive with this album. I can't believe I'm saying that. But I'm saying this on here, on this big platform, because I want to speak out my honest opinion that this album makes me uncomfortable. Whatever it is that she is doing right now makes me uncomfortable. Also, can I just say regarding Post Malone being on her album, why does she keep putting artists on her album if she's gonna give them like 2 background vocals to say and that's it? Like with Lana Del Rey, they literally had to release more Lana Del Rey because she was barely in it. Like, did she not learn her lesson with that one? Why is there no Post? I'm sad about that. She had enough Florence. Florence was pretty good. That song is like, whatever. It was honestly kind of funny because it's like, how dramatic can you make Florida, dun 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 dun, like trying to really make a statement? And I'm like, I feel like you're almost ruining the fact that you're trying to make a statement by trying so hard, but whatever. Anyway, I just really am not crazy about this album, to be completely honest. It's probably okay, like, if you listen to it, like, in a mix of songs, like, you have good songs, and you have other songs, and, like, whatever. And if it's in the mix, I could see it being vibey. But, like, listening to it as a whole, you're basically just setting yourself up for heartbreak. I'm sorry. You are. And then, oh my gosh, what is that song about Kim? Well, not what is it, because it's called what? Thank You, Amy. What, capitalizing Kim in that? I'm sorry. Why? Taylor, why? Has she ever thought about, like, if she had literally just, when the whole snake thing went down, had she not embraced it and just been like, oh, she called me a snake. That's unfortunate. But not said anything about it. Like, even though it was the #1 trending hashtag on Twitter, it would have been over within like 24 hours. She had to fully embrace it. And I think everyone did this knowing that she would, because that's what people know she's prone to do. And that's what they wanted. Had she not, given them the reaction that they were looking for, imagine, like, this whole snake thing never, or the Kanye and Kim feud for that matter, would have turned into what it did. She cannot let it go. And again, I'm like, is this what makes you a billionaire? I mean, I guess this is what I should be doing. But it just comes off so immature. Like, can she not just... I want to hear, like, good songs from her, from, again, the lyricist that she is, that aren't just all based on spite. I want to see what great stuff she can come up with. Like, leave something super positive to the next generations that we can look back on and be like, who was this woman? I bet she was so wonderful. And not just look back and be like, she was some bitter... Once again, I say all this with love. I do love her. I will probably always love her on some level. She holds a place in my heart, and I mean this in the best way possible. And I truly, truly, truly wish her the best, and I hope she gets her stuff together and can come out and do something more impactful. Again, I hope this is just a bad phase for her and that the next album will be better. It's unfortunate to see that this is where she's at with this one, and I hope that she really can get a grip on her life and get a grip on happiness, because this is no way to live. I wish that I could personally coach her. But I can personally coach you guys. If you guys are feeling kind of the same way, do you feel just like really depressed and in the trenches? And do you feel sunk? Do you feel like you've lost sight of shore? Do you feel like you just have some really rough ripples in your life that you're having a hard time balancing out or just getting on top of? I can help you make waves. I niche in helping entrepreneurs build their dream business. That being said, I have also coached in many different categories with many different varieties of people, and I am more than willing to try something new that I haven't tried before. If that is something, or if you feel like we are a good fit, maybe we vibe on being Swifties, or maybe we vibe on my opinions on her current new album or whatnot. We already have something in common if that is the case. So if you are interested, leave a comment below, and also please book a free discovery call on the link below, and I will chat with you. It is completely free to figure out what my coaching is all about, see if we're a good fit, see if we jive. And also, please leave a comment below what your opinion is on Taylor's new album. I'm genuinely curious to hear what your thoughts are on it, what are your thoughts on my opinion. Let's talk it out in the comments below. Also, follow me on almost any social media platform at Mermaid Kassandra, as I'm a professional mermaid. When is Taylor going to release a mermaid album? I have been waiting for this for like ever. Like ever. Also, follow me at Make Waves Coach on almost any social media platform for more free inspirational content. And also check out my podcast, Make Waves Mermaid Kassandra, available every place podcasts are found. I will be back with more and more on my life coaching topic, probably not Taylor related. But thanks for listening to this one if you did. I hope you enjoyed it. Subscribe for more. I will be back with a new episode next week. I will talk to all of y'all soon. Go out there and make waves. Mwah.